The George Allen building for the child support division, and I'm having issues. Right here, this number, I can't really get a hold of anyone. And this number, they hid the telephone number, and it's just directions. So I'm recording this because my search results are altered. And that's not really fair to me to keep me from viewing certain things that incriminates the government, knowing that you never believe it. So why would a whole court's building hide their phone number? That doesn't really make a lot of sense. After recording, I found a number. We'll see how this goes. Okay.
Thank you.
I don't understand anything that was said. These scammers milk when I have to handle business. They create a problem and then terrorize me for trying to solve it.
Dallas Law Library, thank you for waiting. How may I help you?
Law library? Okay. Are you in the George Allen building?
Yes.
Okay. Are you able to transfer me to the child support division?
No, we don't. That's not part of our offices.
Okay. I tried to get a little help with the law library, and not only at that location, but Frank Crowley, and it was sabotaged and security was called. Is that typical with the law legal aid that you had there?
No, we don't have legal aid here.
You used to have legal aid. They stopped?
Yeah,
When did it stop?
November.
Oh, I have pathological lies all the time. I'm trying to prove it to YouTube. So you had the legal there, and the legal stopped in November?
No, we had legal aid here, but they stopped coming in November.
Yeah, because that's a repeated pattern. Every environment I'm at, the legal stops. Or either they are full and can't help me, or
Ma'am, I don't know what a legal stop is.
you said the legal stopped. I thought we were on the same page.
Legal aid.
Yeah, that's what
Legal
I'm.
aid is lawyers who help people.
Yeah, you said it stopped. That's what I'm saying. Well, before it stopped, security came there and the Frank Crowley location, and they had me fill out all this extensive paperwork and then play
There
games.
was no legal aid over in the Frank Crowley Center. Whoever was out there was scamming you.
They named legal. Frank Crowley never had legal aid.
Yes, they never did.
Okay. Well, I get scammed all the time. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I went there and I spoke to Linda Green about the domestic relations, and right here online is saying that she lied. It helps with provides assistance to individuals representing themselves in family law matters. This clinic study associates review pro se self-represented forms and guide individuals on completing or correcting their legal documents. Domestic relations is likely associated with this courts building. So she blatantly lied. She did not want me having legal knowledge of family law matters. Since I'm trying to get clarity on what you guys do.
Just let me know what you need help with, and I'll let you know what you need.
I'm asking, I need to know what you do. With the domestic relations, how do you help? Because I'm already suspicious because last time I was here, you removed me for trying to report that I had missing child support payments. Called security.
I removed you.
Well, someone removed me for trying to report I had missing child support. Did security come? She don't want to incriminate. I think you need to talk to my supervisor. I had missing child support payments here, and security came and they did it at another location. Well, I don't want to handle it in person so people can go to jail that sabotage me for an abuser.
We don't handle the money.
Oh, right, I know, but if you would have let me explain instead of calling security, we could have got to the bottom line of it last time.
You in this office?
Yeah, and security removed me for trying to report.
But I can't.
No.
You're not listening to me.
You're being more aggressive than me, ma'am.
I'm not gonna spend a bunch of time.
Yeah, you're being more aggressive than me. Yeah, and that's how it was last time.
You being combative.
Right. So the government enforces that people that are committing crimes to add insult to injury, they need to raise their voice at me, scare me, and intimidate me to punish me for them racking up felonies for themselves. It's not left up for debate. These people are prepped, and it's prearranged in all my environments like Mid-Coast. We want to add insult to injury, and we want to torture her and torment her for trying to take care of her business. The downfall of doing that, it happens to be consequences, and if people were being held accountable, it would be a felony charge. It is criminal to torment someone, oppress them, intimidate them, and repeatedly orchestrate for me to be treated the way that I'm repeatedly being treated. So people sugarcoat felonies, but it is a felony for a reason.
court enforcement. That's what we do.
Okay, well, what is the domestic services that That's Linda Green.
No, we just do child support enforcement. If a child support case, we enforce it. That's it. That's all we do.
Are you denying me services? If you offer domestic services, what all do you do
No,
here?
we don't offer
Because you're the
domestic-
one that called security on me for trying to report missing child
Maybe
support
I
payments.
did.
Okay, so the government commits a crime and then deprives me of legal, as you can see, and it's just tricky proving it. So I can't hire an attorney because they do the same thing. They're illegally monitoring me, and I went to try to hire attorneys and can't. I'd be a millionaire for all these crimes and these wrecked up felonies and how people are oppressing me, mistreating me all these years just for trying to get services, pushing, shoving, and having me as the elephant in the room. The whole group of people are getting services. I'm watching them that I can't get. In jail, whole groups of people are using the phone every Sunday, like in Del Valley, and I'm watching people use the phone and I can't. I'm watching people use tablets and I can't use it. I'm watching people go to church and I can't. We're having recreation properly, and my situation is controlled. I'm watching a group of people go to rec, and they said that lie on me and said that I can't go because of my behavior, and I've been in the cell alone, and they have no clue what they're talking about. But they do this in online environments. So my device is hiding the number. I don't know how to combat that someone's allowed to break into your phone, alter your search results, and all kind of other things, and not held accountable. So I have to, try to strategize on how I can get things accomplished on my phone while someone's strategizing on the other end to keep me from solving problems, knowing that you never believe it. By the time I call the party, they're already pre-bought off and paid to torture and harass me for trying to solve conflict. So this initiated because I have a child support payment that's missing, and it's been happening years. Higher than normal call volume.
And are unable to answer your call. High call volumes occur on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Yeah, this is how you don't get charges. This happened years.
On our website from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Just visit.
This is what happened with the legal aid for why it took me 7 or 8 months to get the legal aid.
You can find the chat icon on the lower right-hand corner of your screen. You can also use this feature from your mobile device.
So they can't talk to me. Before I was targeted, it wasn't like this. Attorney General will have you on hold an extended amount of time. Now, since I'm targeted, they claim that they can't talk to me. It's too many calls. If the government is trapping me in all this criminal activity, what am I supposed to do with this? All these automated systems calling in has altered and changed to keep me in problems. They just hung up. It changed this online. The number for the George Allen building is hid online, and I just have to sit and take this every year, knowing that you never believe my story. Yeah, I'm trying to call
We are
again.
experiencing the normal call volume at the moment and are unable to answer your call. High call volumes occur on Mondays and Tuesdays. However, we are available to chat with you on our website from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard.
Yes, my abuser has enlisted government offices to defraud me out of funds. And I would like to report that I have a child support payment missing. It's happened for years.
Give me 1 second.
Okay. Yes, I got transferred to you. I don't know what's happening. My abuser has enlisted government agencies to defraud me out of funds. And I'd like to report that I have a missing child support payment.
You have a missing child support payment? You
Yeah.
have to contact the Attorney General.
What's your name?
I'm sorry?
What's your name?
This is Sergeant Valdez. Who am I speaking with?
Oh, and your badge number?
I'm sorry?
Your badge number.
210.
I thought it was pretty rare because I say I'm sorry, and now a lot of people that I'm calling also say I'm sorry too.
Oh.
Yeah, because that's not common for so many people. I don't know if I'm being taunted or what's happening. But yeah, so I'm reporting that my abuser has enlisted government agencies to defraud me of funds. It's financial abuse.
I'll transfer you to dispatch. You can get a deputy to call you back.
Okay, what was the relevancy of me being transferred to you? She don't want to talk about it.
This is Randy.
Yes, my abuser likes people to play games, and also I was trying to report that he also enlists parties to defraud me out of funds, and they do it. And I don't know what was happening with the transfers, because it's been happening years. Can you explain what's going on with all these transfers?
This is the Victoria County Sheriff's Office.
Yeah, I've been transferred around around what's happening.
Okay, I can't explain the transfers unless you explain to me what the issue is.
Yes, I'll repeat myself. My abuser has parties commits a crime. In place, he has
Your
people.
user party?
My abuser commits a crime. Okay, has people taunt and violate me for reporting it. Then has all accomplices around me conspire with cover up to protect him from accountability for his crimes. So that's criminal. In addition to that, he's committing crimes, financial abuse crimes. And I wanted to report that government agencies have been enlisted in that and have defrauded me out of funds.
Okay, and where did all this happen?
Today, it's happening today. I have, for years, I've had child support payments. Attorney General robbed me of paid child support payments, and I have another payment missing.
Okay, can I get the address where you live?
That too, and if it's possible to report my abuser. And there's also a discrepancy. Whoever I was calling as Attorney General Child Support Division lied and said that they didn't get documentation that my child custody rights were terminated. So I'm racking up debt, and I don't have any rights to my child, and that's not legal. So, but the representative lied and said that she didn't see that they weren't sent the paperwork. And I just reviewed an old video, and the terminated child custody agreement is actually addressed to Attorney General. So Attorney General is scamming that they don't have this document, but I do see their name is actually on this document. So they have it, but they're lying and creating a high substantial debt that it looks like I'm being defrauded out of funds in that manner too, because the debt is so high. The debt is so high.
You can explain it in more detail.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Because I'm not a deputy, and then that way y'all can figure it out together, okay?
Hopefully we can, or maybe the FBI can do something, because the crimes are outrageous, but we'll see how this goes. Hopefully they'll call me back in a timely manner.
You got transferred. I apologize you got transferred so many times. It just depends on who answers the phone and if they know where to take you.
I was trying to report that it's been happening years. I just really haven't been heard all these years. I think it's deliberate, which is why I reported it. I think that my abuser commits a crime.
It's not deliberate on my part, but I'll get somebody to call you.
Yeah, and he has people talk over me and play mind games and lie and con. They just did this with a text with another location that was scamming that I couldn't come to this mandatory meeting. She had the same pattern of behavior. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, I'm gonna get somebody to call you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. So I was told the story has changed, that they gave it to me Friday. The notice for the mandatory meeting. She saw that I've seen it, and I said, I don't know what you're talking about. So you're telling me you saw me see something? And then when she realized it really wasn't making sense, so then I got a call. I guess they didn't want me having text messages on this bizarre conversation. So she called, and then it had changed to it wasn't put in the mailbox yesterday at 6. It changed that I got it Friday. And then I said, what are you talking about? I didn't get it at the meeting. So I have a text. Hold on. Well, I'm recording with the device. So I have a text saying something about this group meeting that we had. Then it changed that it was put in the mailbox that Friday. And I didn't get it, and maybe perhaps this person didn't put it in there, and it's just bizarre. So perhaps maybe it was put in the mailbox Friday, or perhaps maybe it wasn't Friday. I don't know, but you just said that I saw it, and then it's just bizarre. So then, then I'm trying to get questioned that this conversation isn't really making any sense. And then I was talked over, and then the conversation was basically ended. But I just find it bizarre that armies full of people have the same pattern of behavior, and it's not safe for me to scheme, for people to scheme to deprive me of services all over the place for my abuser. And then scam so I can't be in locations and have shelter in this crisis. To the degree of the government agencies scamming to defraud me out of funds for financial abuse for him. It's criminal, and something needs to be done. So what they're doing, there's other locations. My device is making it blurry. So when I was calling these locations and I couldn't find the toll-free number. Okay, my device hit the toll-free number. Okay, then when they scam that the toll-free number is not accepting calls. So then I'm trying to call these numbers, and it's forwarding me over back to the toll-free number that's full and it's not accepting calls. The reason why I'm recording this is because someone is controlling all of this, knowing that you never believe it. So when I didn't want the number to these locations, it demanded that I have the number to the location. Now that they know that I need the toll-free number, all these other numbers are the toll-free number. So I'm getting nowhere. And the toll-free number is scheming to not talk to me, period. There's multiple different locations on my phone, and all the numbers are the toll-free number, so I can't call the actual location. There's Buckner, Plano, Mockingbird location, and all of them is that one toll-free number. And the number for the George Allen Building Child Support Division to get a hold of Linda Green, that number's being hid on my phone. And that's rounding me to the law library and all these other things to keep me from, and then they're claiming that they can't find the number themselves in the scheme. So I knew it was something wrong because I spent an extensive amount of hours. And I have been living a long time, and they're making it impossible for me to solve problems that were deliberately created. It's paid off, so I need to ensure, and it has been impossible. So I put in George Allen Domestic Relations, and it's hiding what that is, my search results. So I clicked into something else that has domestic relations, and this is what came up. Just directions, and that's it. No feedback, no number. So a civil court number came up. This is the number.
The offices of Dallas County. Please listen carefully.
So the automated system is excluding anything for child support, but that's what came up for child support. So I can't speak to the George Allen Building as well as Attorney General Child Support Division. It's being hidden.
Morning 255, this is Brandon speaking. How can I assist you?
Yes, do you have any information on the domestic relations?
What's that?
Domestic relations?
What about it?
Do you have any information on it?
Like what kind of information are you speaking of?
Anything that you're willing to tell me. You want me to tell you about what you do? Because I'm asking you what it does, and you want me to tell you what it does, and I'm asking you what it does?
Man, let me get you down to the law library, okay? Give me 1 second.
Commit a crime, then play the game.
Law library?
Yes, I was transferred to you to figure out about domestic relations that the Child Support Division has to offer.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're sent here to find out about what exactly?
They do that all the time. They transfer me to you to get information on my case that they have.
Okay.
And then they transfer me to you to do complaints on crimes that they're committing at the 255th District Court. They've been doing this for years. So they want me you to tell me about what domestic relations does at the George Allen Building.
Well, I don't know specifically. I know there is an office, what is it called? I know it has domestic relations in its name. I think it's just called Domestic Relations Office, actually. I believe they are on the second floor here. It's been quite a long time since I've been in their office, and I don't know what exactly they do, but...
No one does. No one does. Hopefully the FBI can figure out what they do. Can I have the phone number?
Let me see if I can find that for you.
Okay.
Hold on one moment. It says it's the domestic, well, I don't know if it's specifically what you're after, but it says Domestic Relations Office Child Support Division. Is that who you want to reach? Or
Okay.
Okay. But their phone number is 214-653-7584. And let me check one other thing here, because there's that. There's also
Yeah, the 7584 is excluding all the. I don't know what's happening, but when I call, it excludes anything to get to Child Support Division. So it gives me all kind of other things that I could press, and it does not have anything to connect me with the Child Support Division. And I'm not quite certain why so many parties have played these games these years, and I've spent countless hours to get nowhere. And I'm just trying to prove to YouTubers and the FBI that they need to do something. This is too much power to repeatedly abuse. So there's a missing child support payments. Someone commits a crime and then makes it impossible for me to solve it. That's not fair to me, for people to repeatedly embezzle funds, rack up all kind of felonies, and then leave me trapped in it for profit. It's criminal, and something needs to be done. But I had nothing has been, so maybe I just need to try to find an exit strategy to leave this cricket country.
Okay. Well, let me give you one other one. Can I put you down one moment and just confirm that this is an actual number?
I thought you already did that. This is bizarre.
Well, it was a different number, so I found another number for the Dallas Family Court Services.
Okay, everybody treats me like that. I can hold.
Okay, excuse me 1 second.
Okay. This is essentially what my kids did when they sent me text messages, then ignored me twice. One day sent me a text message to ignore me. Another day sent me a text message then to ignore me. 2 children did it.
Okay, so this is Family Court Services number. It will also start with 214653. Their number ends in 7674.
And this is how you get to domestic relations. I just didn't realize, can I ask a question? Since I've been targeted, you ask for one number and they have to give you 7, 5, 4, 3, 2 numbers. Now one number, one location don't have a number. One badge number is not a badge number, it's 2 or 3 numbers. And then when you call and you ask for one location, you have to get 2 or 3 numbers, and then you call a location that is excluding the number. It's just really bizarre since I've been targeted. Used to be when you asked for a number, you got that number, and it wasn't 3 numbers for that one number. But it all has changed since I've been targeted. Everything has changed, including law enforcement.
Yeah, and with the number, I think you said you tried earlier, the domestic relations office, but they wouldn't let you reach actual child support. Is that what you said?
That's correct. You can call it yourself. It gives me options for multiple different other locations that exclude the child support division. So that's what happened when I searched it online. What's even weirder is that 255th District Court would tell me to transfer me to the law library in Malice to answer questions that they should be answering.
Well, right. Well, and this is often the place where you'll get transferred if there's just a question that the court staff either can't answer or doesn't want to answer, or they think it's legal advice or something like that. But
I'm just not really being heard that people are racking up felonies and everyone has an excuse on why crimes are being committed. They're doing it everywhere. They have an excuse on why all this transpires year after year, and can't be that they're committing crimes. It's just they have an excuse for transferring me to the law library to give me information on what cases that I have, a case that I have with them. So can you give me information on my case? You said you can do that?
What kind of a case do you have?
It's a family law case. Can you tell me? This is the police department. You have information on the family law case?
Well, if you have your case number, what I'll be able to see is just what all has been filed so far.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll call you back then.
Okay.
It won't let me answer the call. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Hello. One second.
Hello?
Good.
You called and not to talk?
This is Deputy Christian with the Sheriff's Office.
Okay, how do you spell your name?
CHRISTENSEN.
And your badge number?
288.
Okay, I would like to report that my abuser is allowed to defraud me out of funds, and he enlists the government agencies to do so. And then when he commits a crime, he enlists the police department and the sheriff, to all multiple different kind of law enforcement agencies to conceal his crimes, which makes them accessories. So I'm reporting that my abuser prearranges and commits a crime and then uses law enforcement to cover for his crimes. And then they deprive me of law enforcement to combat the crimes that he commits, and leaving me trapped in his abuse. So not only does he enlist law enforcement to leave me in his abuse, all organizations, churches, everywhere I've been, including family members, leave me in this man's abuse. So when he commits a crime, I'm in terror, and it's pre-orchestrated and arranged, and they're giving me no avenue to flee him for profit. And since he's paying for it up front, that he wants his money's worth to make sure that there's no possibility that I can flee his abuse. He needs to be comfortable in knowing that the police department and law enforcement will leave me in his abuse, and they do. So today I have a missing child support payment, and it's happened years. And since he's hid my child support payment, that he's going to enlist you guys to cover for it, like all the other crimes he's committed.
Okay. Let's start this off. What's your name, Matt?
Can you please not repeat my personal information? Because a lot of people repeat it in malice after we've already went over it. It's not a need to repeat it again. I record my calls.
So, how would you like me to address you?
My name, you can address me as my name. I just don't want you repeating my number and my address because a lot of people do it in malice after it's already been, after we already confirmed things. So I'm just asking
Okay.
you not to do that in malice like other parties have done.
Oh, okay. So, what's this guy's name?
It's Jason Gardner. I assume that's what's happening. I just can't fathom that the government would allow themselves to be controlled by one human being like this. So I don't really know what's happening. All I know is when I ended the online relationship, my life was hijacked. And my life has been pretty bizarre even before I realized that I knew him. But
What's Jason's last name?
Gardner, Gardner. Just can't understand how he would be able to talk the attorney general and all these government agencies into defrauding me out of funds. And then they do it.
Do you have any? Is there any like bank transactions or anything like that?
It is. And in addition to that, I have recordings of trying to report that I've had missing payments. At this point of time, I didn't know that I was being targeted. But $5,800 came up missing, $3,000 came up missing, and it wasn't that I just had excessive funds in my account. This was in critical situations. Then another time, I was in jail on false charges. It would alter. The payments were supposed to be like $500. It go to $200, and it was $200 like several months. And I was being defrauded out of funds with all the missing payments. Then even in my account, I had $200 left in my account, and it disappeared. So I started keeping the receipts. And then the $200 I had took out, I was pickpocketed and was robbed, and someone took it. Police wouldn't take the report. And multiple different times, some people were being set up to pickpocket me, and police didn't want evidence that it was being set up because it was too many, so they wouldn't take the reports. So, so what happened was I went to the ATM and I had $200 left in my account, and I took 200 out, and then I kept the receipt. And then after that, they started hiding my balance on the receipt. And then I tried to check my balance online, and it glitched and wouldn't let me check it. So I went to the police department because I was being systematically robbed from funds on the SMI1 card, just sitting in the account. Then they started systematically robbing me with transactions. And then, like for example, at PF Chang's, the total was supposed to be $60. They charged me $100. Then when I disputed the additional $40, they charged me $100 two more times. So that was $240 I was being defrauded out of. So I tried to dispute it with SMI1 card. They covered for me being defrauded out of thousands. So they would not let me dispute it. So then I went to PF Chang's and I threatened the police if they did not resolve this issue and me being defrauded out of $240 just for simply dining in at a restaurant. But hotels have done it, armies full of locations have done it, which have successfully defrauded me out of thousands of dollars. So I started having to upload videos of how much money I have been defrauded out of. So I book a Lyft. One time I booked a Lyft and it said $16, and then when I booked it, it changed to 50 something dollars. It didn't give me a confirmation. It didn't give me a choice. I tried to confirm it, and it automatically booked it, and it altered the price. And then I had to cancel it to not. That's a drastic difference. That was the third time that same day I had been defrauded out of funds. I'll just Lyft alone.
Okay. So which part are you wanting to report?
What's your position?
I'm a deputy.
Okay. Which part, deputy? What will you let me report? That's convenient for you.
Well, so I know we don't have a PF chain here in Victoria. So I guess whatever is happening here in Victoria County, specifically.
I thought that you needed history. So a preponderance of evidence.
That's a good backstory, and all that. But we're trying to. If this crime happened somewhere else in a different jurisdiction, I unfortunately don't have jurisdiction in those other cities. So that's like something you would have to contact that city.
Well,
and
what are you
get
willing to
involved
do?
with.
What are you willing to do with the crime now? I'm missing child support payments and a history of missing child support payments. And then whatever's happening with my device to why they're hiding attorney general so I can't speak to them on the phone. It's happened years. So I'm calling and they're conning that it's no possible way that I can speak with attorney general. And then I call the 1-800 number and the attorney general, whatever's happening, the automated system is saying that they're busy and they can't talk to me. But I've
And
experienced.
unfortunately, that's something on their part. We can't.
I'm really
we
not
can't.
being heard. I'm being telling you that a crime is being committed with my devices being hacked and illegally monitored and controlled, which is criminal. A person can't rob you of funds and then alter the automated system and search results. That's a crime, and that's
No,
cyber
very
crime.
true. I didn't say someone.
Well,
could.
that's
I
what
was
I'm
just
reporting.
saying
The
that.
cyber crimes are happening. We're deflecting on the fact that I'm reporting cyber crimes right now today. Cyber crimes
Okay.
is criminal. Someone is altering these automated systems and these sites to leave me in abuse they prearranged and set up and using the police departments to cover for their crimes repeatedly over and over. That's criminal.
Yeah.
You don't commit a
Yes.
crime and bribe police to leave someone in your abuse. You don't bribe government agencies to conspire with financial abuse and then rob that party of the ability to report it. That's criminal. So I'm reporting that cyber crimes are being committed, that these automated systems are being altered and web pages are being altered to leave me in crimes my abuser committed. And using the police law enforcement to cover for his crimes, which is accessory charges for them to try to protect and save this man from crimes he repeatedly commits. That's what I'm reporting, all of that. That you guys cover for this man's crimes. That's a crime. Our systems are altered, web pages and automated systems are altered in corruption to leave me in crimes he commit. So I'm calling all around years to get nowhere because he's controlling automated systems, people I'm talking to in corruption, so I get nowhere. That's criminal.
Yes, ma'am. I do. It sounds like in that situation, I think I would be frustrated too. So what about this was all in regards to this Jason subject?
Yes.
Okay. In regards to the stuff coming out of your bank account, do you have any pictures of those transactions?
No, this was at a time I did try to report it to Grand Prairie Police and they covered for it and then eventually took my freedom for trying to flee abuse and took me to Parkland Hospital where I was violated there and I lost my car behind it. So I'm not very happy about police abusing power to mistreat me like this. So nonetheless, I did report it to, and I gave evidence to Grand Prairie Police Department that I had went to the ATM. I told them funds came up missing that I did not take out. It also happened on a SNAP card. $1,000 came up missing. The police department and Health and Human Services covered for it. And I tried to do a follow-up to show a paper trail of this man not only robbing me of funds in my account, on debit cards, transactions, but he also robbed me of food stamps. So I went to report that to Fort Worth. The police came and gave me a criminal trespass. And then when I relocated and went to Austin, they set up that was a charge and I had a warrant for my arrest. When I started uploading videos, then they wouldn't tell me what went on, but they said it was no longer a warrant. If I don't upload videos, these things will stick. They did it when I came here. Austin created a charge from when my abuser was mad. So I went to report the crimes at the Texas Health and Human Services to keep me from the $1,000 worth of food stamps. And the police department came, demanded I left, cover for it, and gave me a criminal trespass. I relocated, and then they scammed that they didn't give me the criminal trespass warning, but they gave me a case that was then a warrant for that same situation. And then when I tried to get feedback on what happened, everywhere I called would not tell me I have it recorded. And they wanted me to sit and marinate that someone was able to put a case on me on blatant lies from nowhere, create a case, and then they have the right to not tell me, incriminate themselves and tell me anything about what was done. They wouldn't tell me where the case was, who put the case on me. They just gave me the date and that's it. And they said that was all that they can see. And then they said later on when they got caught in that crime, it was dismissed and they had no other information for me to give me. And nobody will tell me. The police won't tell me. Nobody will tell me on how they created a case from nowhere repeatedly over and over in multiple different locations when this man's mad.
Okay. Is there any whatsoever some transaction, like bank, like pictures of any transaction so I can kind of, put that together in a case and show something, or?
I do have the transactions that I was getting the funds on the 4th, and then my bank altered the statement. And then when I started with what happened was I wanted to see the dates that I was getting these funds to see if maybe what was going on. And then it altered with hiding the date. A lot multiple different months started at 19 and hid what happened from the 1st to up until the 19th. Okay, so it wouldn't let me when I got the payments to cover for me being robbed or whatever's happening with my payments. So then when I got my device, then it showed me April, that when I got the payment on the 4th. Typically, the payments are coming from the child support division. Typically, the payments come earlier on when it's close to a holiday. So I should have already gotten it, but there's all kind of other crimes being committed at the Attorney General Child Support Division. So I tried to call them. There's also they are setting up debt, and for my rights are being terminated, and I'm not liable to pay child support. My custody rights were terminated. So in Malice, the 255th District Court that terminated my rights for profit is not communicating. They're claiming that they don't have the records that my rights were terminated, and it's creating debt. Well, Attorney General, whoever I was talking to, was blatantly lying, because on past paperwork, I can see that it's addressed to the Attorney General Child Support Division. And plus, in addition to that, I have recordings. This happens quite frequently when I'm talking. Bad radios go up quite frequently now. I noticed that's a pattern here lately. So nonetheless, it's like a form of distraction I've had to endure this years. So nonetheless, Linda Green 2 times stated, and Malice gave me the terminated child custody agreement when I was stating to her that I was being defrauded out of child support payments. She wanted me to know that my child custody rights were terminated at the child support division in Malice. And if she indeed had those terminated child custody agreements, they should not be charging me interest and all these charges on child support when I don't have access to my daughter for profit.
Okay, so how does this Jason Gardner subject tie into all of this?
Well, you guys are taking bribes, he says, and that you are he's controlling you guys in the government to conspire with his crimes and cover up. So he's able to pull all this off because he's influencing government officials.
274. Go ahead.
Okay, so did he tell you this in person, or
It's
how
an
did he
email.
tell you?
It's an email.
Do you have a picture of that email?
Yes.
Would you be able to send that to my work phone that I called you on?
Okay, but I've sent this years and nobody ever responds. It's just spins my wheels. People pretend like they want to do law enforcement and really don't. I've sent it to countless people, and as I said, can you please confirm that you received it? And they won't.
Sometimes with that, it might be because these are all work phones we have, and they're not used to text. Like, we'll receive messages on here, but we don't send.
Well, I would like to
back.
concentrate on Linda Green, the Attorney General Child Support Division, and evidence that something is amiss with my calls, because whoever I'm talking to is lying about payments, and I do have that recorded, and I can give you the YouTube channel. I would like to concentrate on that. And then on the YouTube channel, you can see that he's saying that he owns the government and the police department. So you can clearly see that there's something amiss.
This Linda Green is stating that they own the police department.
The email is stating that. So the Linda Green lied about issues. What is it called? It's a program. Something. Let me see. Let me look it up with my phone.
That has the proof.
Kiana Clark Peace. I did tell you to hold on a second, but that's okay. This domestic relations. So she lied about that to cover for the crimes committed to keep me away from my child, leaving me trapped and not having a resolution. And then she gave me paperwork that my child custody rights were terminated. So the Attorney General knows that my rights are terminated, but in Malice, they're still racking up charges for child support payments when I don't legally have any rights to my child. And then they're denying me of any records to, so they don't have accountability for their crimes. So I keep asking for records to terminate a child custody agreement. Since sometimes it's terminated, sometimes it's not. It's just the benefits to whatever benefits them to not get charges for their corruption. But I think that someone being able to rob someone of Attorney General paid child support payments, funds that they worked for, Social Security payments, IRS stimulus check, and tax returns. I think that's a bit extreme for someone to repeatedly do that. So the Attorney General has robbed me. I don't know how much they've robbed me out of. Child support, IRS, I would imagine, has robbed me out of about $10,000. I experience this all the time. I think it's a form of tampering with evidence. This is a new strategy. So then, in addition to that, Social Security has robbed me of funds, and then you know about the Attorney General Child Support Division payments and the Health and Human Services payments for SNAP. So I'm reporting crimes and year after year, and he says that you guys will cover for him forever, and I'm powerless. And all I'm doing is just spending my wheels doing all these reports. What you're doing is miscellaneous reports, and that you're keeping me from law enforcement. You're basically acting and pretending like you're doing law enforcement, knowing that it'll never get investigated to cover for him. And I don't get a large percentage of my calls.
I've never heard of this Jason Gardner.
That's what they said here, but they put mail in the mailbox and hid it, and then for some kind of way was excluding me from a mandatory meeting. And if I can't go to the mandatory meeting, then I can't live here. And they accidentally told me about the meeting, and if I wouldn't have went to this meeting, that would have been a strategy to put me off this property I'm living in. And then other services, I'm not getting. And then when people get caught and keeping services from me, then they have to go, ignore, raise their voice, and then change the topic, location to location. Everyone is saying they don't know them, but yet and still I have 300 plus reports that are being investigated. Apparently you do, if you know to be an accessory and cover for them. So I reported multiple different serious things, and nobody has ever investigated it. I imagine that you would have to deny it, but some kind of way I'm not getting my calls. The only calls that I get are for people that are accomplices to his abuse and cover up. I've never had a call for someone that has legitimately has my best interest at heart. No one can call me that does.
Well, a lot of that stuff gets pushed to investigators, then they handle it. They call when they want. There's no set time or anything.
Yeah, the multiple different locations that said procedures and policies have changed to not get accountability for wrecked up charges. It's criminal to deprive someone of law enforcement, even if you have an alibi for doing so. So if I'm reporting serious events, they don't have a choice to scam that, for 10 years, that's a scam, whatever con and scam that someone could come up with on why I'm getting denied law enforcement to not get accountability for it. Anyone with common sense knows that you guys are racking up charges no matter what you say. I've reported some serious things to you, and if I don't get law enforcement, that makes you accomplice to the crime. And I haven't in all these years.
How many years have you been reporting this?
The being defrauded out of child support payments, that has went on when I didn't know I was targeted. Years. Maybe since 2005.
Oh wow!
But when it got out of control, when I really knew I was being robbed, and someone was saying that they were paying payments, and then he had this mysterious stroke after he said, "No, I'm paying the child support. You need to figure out what's going on." I feel that every month, and my electricity's going off, and I'm going through all this madness, and I had child support payments and couldn't get them. So when the dad told me yes, and I didn't normally talk to him, but some kind of way I got a hold of him. And, he didn't typically return my calls, but he did in this particular time. And he said, "No, I'm paying it." And then they lied. And then when he got caught in it, and when the summer was over, and I had all this madness and turmoil from all the things that I was going through, then it got put on the card. But the bizarre thing of it is I had it was going to my account. But they scammed when they got caught in it. They put all the payments on the card. But another problem was I called every month, and they said they didn't get the payments. They did the same thing with another payment that was $5,800, and they told me that I would not be getting it. And I reported this to Linda Green, and she called security to enforce that this kind of behavior continued. That whenever my abuser was mad, that you guys would rack up charges and defraud me out of funds that I was supposed to be getting, to the degree of IRS stimulus checks and paid tax returns. So I don't know where all these funds are going, but that's embezzlement and other crimes. Now they have escalated it to employers are doing it. I work for funds, and then they deprive me of funds that I work for.
So what about this YouTube channel?
Did I give it to you?
No, ma'am.
Okay, it's Kiana.
Situation?
Yes, and for example, the Social Security Administration, I was supposed to have racked up funds for them too. Years of glitches and not getting Social Security benefits my son as well as myself should have been eligible for from someone else's benefits. He told me out his own mouth that it's a substantial amount. Go talk to them. So when I went to go talk to them, they locked and closed up and said that they were calling the police on me. I asked them, they kept playing games and trying to strategize to keep me from knowledge on where these payments were what happened to them. So I had to strategize to catch them in lies. So my strategy was I wanted a printout of the history of my payments. And then when they got caught in that lie, they printed me out zeros. I said zeros is not a history of the payments that I received because they were deliberately committing crimes to keep me from the payments. So then when they printed me out the zeros as a history of my payments, security came and rescued staff and demanded that I leave and escorted me out. And then when I tried to get down to the bottom of why they gave me paperwork with zeros on it, not what I asked, they called the police on me. Then COVID happened and then everything was shut down. Then after COVID, everything was shut out. They scammed that I owed them and they still did not have any of the payments. But some kind of way I owed them. And they said that they had put these missing payments in an account at a bank account that I had, a bank that I had already covered for past crimes. Me ended up being defrauded out of $2,000. The same bank wouldn't give me funds in my account with ID and social and all my credentials. I had to call the police on the bank and catch them and defrauded me out of the funds in my account. So now they scammed that this bank had the payments all along. They did this with my son and payments he had worked for. So nonetheless, they had scammed that the bank had the money all along. And then the bank says that they no longer have records, whoever I was talking to. Because I wanted evidence that I wasn't really getting these funds from Social Security Administration. The bank scammed that it's been too old and they no longer have the records. So I was trapped and being defrauded out of all these locations of funds and nothing repeatedly done.
For 2307 East and Knoxville.
Okay. Alrighty, Miss Clark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and document pretty much everything you've told me about this and go from there, okay?
Well, I think that's a red flag. You're orchestrating your words. Document. It's a mind game. So document typically there's no investigation with documenting. So you're basically committing a crime. But you guys repeatedly aren't held accountable. That's why I never get an investigator, because you're doing document reports, which is criminal. So I'll never get one. And then blaming it on the investigator when you're doing the report fraudulently, so it won't be investigated. But you've trapped me in this living hell years.
As of right now, I don't have any. I had asked if you'd be able to send some information to me, with some documentation of the bank transactions and all that, because as of right now, I'm going to document this and see, and I'll see if investigations wants to push it up, and if they want to investigate it further.
They don't have a choice now. Investigating it is a crime. You can't. So when you report a theft, you don't have to. Police department investigates theft. They don't say I just got robbed and took my phone. Oh, I can't take it because I didn't see it. That's what they tell me. No, I can't take the report because I didn't see the theft. I can't.
Well,
we can't
investigate.
That's what they told me.
For a crime, we got to have some proof of it.
Right, you investigate it to get the proof, but they're telling me in their scam that since I didn't see it, or since I can't see it, that I can't investigate it as an alibi as a strategy to deprive me of law enforcement. Typically, if someone says,
who said that?
Multiple, that's basically essentially what you're saying. So essentially, if someone is saying I'm reporting embezzlement, and then they give the accomplices and conspirators, then it's investigated. They don't demand that you show paperwork, but they use their law enforcement tools and techniques to get those documents that party is being withheld. That's being withheld from that party. So when I do reports, the scam of it is knowing that I have limited access to records. The scam is that I can't investigate it when it's really a crime of denied investigation.
Yes, ma'am. What I'm going to do is I'm going to document and I'm going to push it up to investigations and see if they would like to, if I'm going to, relay the same information.
They don't have a choice. It's a crime for them to deprive me of investigation like they've already done 300 and something times. People sugarcoat felonies and criminal activity.
Yes, ma'am, Miss Clark. Unfortunately, I mean that's nothing I have control
It's
of. I'm just a
pathological
deputy.
lies. This is a felony. This pathological lies. It's pre-orchestrated and controlled. That's why I'm just recording it. It's
Okay.
bought off and paid before he made the call that it doesn't get investigated. It can't. It shows crimes the government's committing. It cannot be
Well,
investigated
yes, ma'am.
until they
Well,
get their charges.
my job as a deputy is to take reports and do stuff like this on the street, while investigations, that's their job.
So
to dig
they're
a little
covering for
deeper.
all the crimes he
Unfortunately,
commits, all of them. Okay, what's the report number? And then has an alibi for all the racked up felonies to not get accountability. Pathological lies, just blatant lies. So I would have to be trapped in embezzlement and cyber crimes, and they have to decide again if they want to investigate that.
I never said that, ma'am.
Okay, what's the report number?
It'll be 2025 -017608.
And what do I do about the report of you guys committing crimes to cover for my abuser repeatedly over and over? Because I've tried to report the police and I get arrested and violated and mistreated and intimidated and bullied.
As far as that, would you like to talk to my supervisor about
Yeah, I
this?
want to report police and sheriffs and law enforcement for committing crimes. I want to report crimes you guys keep committing to cover for
Okay,
them.
well, I believe something like that would have to be held, taken by someone a little bit higher than me. So if you want, I can get in contact with my sergeant and see if he would like to speak with you.
If he'd like to. I experience these mind games all the time. I'm trying to convince YouTube it's really happening.
Okay, is that something you would like me to do, ma'am?
You said if he'd like to speak with me?
Are you, well, it depends. Are you wanting to speak with him?
Yeah, but you said that it's a possibility that he wouldn't want to speak with me. You have to make sure he would like to speak with me.
Well, I didn't mean it that way at first because I didn't know if you would like to. I was just offering if you wanted to speak.
Oh,
with him
other
at
parties
first.
did. They were deliberately playing the mind games. I'm glad it wasn't deliberate for you. I don't know, but 300 and something times, I don't know. It seems like it may be fruitless, but we can try it. But I feel like I'm spinning my wheels because I can't get my authentic calls. But as long as my calls are being controlled, I really don't go anywhere. I said, once again, I can try it. So my abuser gets to commit crimes and then enlist you guys to cover for him and control my phone to keep me from any authentic help.
Ms. Clark.
I don't appreciate people controlling the conversation, sir. And robbing me of my ability to report crimes. You're not muted. You're not muted all these years. People aren't muted. Are you trying to deflect and control my report?
Ms. Clark, are you going to let me speak?
Oh, you just didn't want me doing the report and you're not committing crimes? Oh, I'm sorry. You were interrupting me doing the report like everyone else.
Did I ever say that?
So you were misclarking me and reporting countless federal charges. Like CPS did, the CPS intake. I thought I was speaking. I thought you were misclarking me while I was speaking. I thought, were you deliberately interrupting my report in a strategy not to get charges?
I was trying to speak to you because you kept speaking over me, man.
That's a blatant lie. I was speaking and then you misclarked me and then slandered me, gaslit me. This is how the calls that I can get. This is not fair for me. This is why I don't want to be here because no one has put you guys under control. It's too much damage that you have gotten away with.
Would you like to speak to my supervisor?
I've answered you multiple different times, and you redirect the call with me reporting crimes to ask the same question. This is psychological abuse. If I've already answered you 4 or 5 times, why are you taking control of the call, asking me the same thing I've answered 3 or 4 other times? You're using that strategy. You're using that strategy as an alibi to deprive me of this report, like other parties have done. So you're asking me questions that I've already answered to redirect the conversation to not have accountability or information on crimes that I'm trying to report. So you're using the fact asking me the same question over and over as a strategy from depriving me of a report. And it's been happening years.
Okay. Well, would you like... I was just asking because you never gave me a clear
answer. I did ask you. I answered you several times, and I don't know how to combat. Yes, I'd like to speak with him. And you keep asking me the same thing over and over to redirect the conversation to cover for crimes.
Give me 1 second, ma'am, okay?
Okay, thank you. So you start off rational and not with an attitude, and then they play all these games, and then they get the reaction. They're waiting for a reaction. And they're strategizing their words so you can be combative and seem like you're just raging at innocent people. not when you don't know the backstory of the history of what's happening. It's deliberate strategy. But I get this from Amazon, the law library, 250 feet, everywhere I'm calling. I cannot get authentic calls from anyone that wants to legitimately help me. In churches, everywhere. If I can receive the call, they're covering for crimes. Even family and friends. Well, the problem of it is I pay rent here, and if the child support payment is hid, I do have some money saved. But if the child support payment is hid, it is the 7th, and I still haven't got it. That would make the rent late. My abuser knows that I want to buy a car. So if I use the saved up money and then they play this game and hide child support payments, then I won't be able to pay my rent. That's why I have to report this. The child support payment, the time that the child support payments has changed now, and I'm getting it later. Any kind of thing that I want to do, they have a strategy to interrupt it, even if it's petty. I guess I just have to take being robbed blind. I mean, I don't know what to do. I mean, each day something is created for me to have to upload and report, and then they just won't investigate any of it. Is there really a purpose in doing this? Where has it gotten me in 10 years? Is the channel even real? Am I just spinning my wheels? If someone is actually deliberately committing a crime just so you can be in that psychological abuse, committing a crime and then police deprive you of law enforcement, you upload videos to get nowhere 400 something times, what's the relevancy of this? I'd go shopping. If I could have the power that he has, I'd go straight to his house and start going shopping. Go straight in his bank account, do the same thing so he can see how it feels. All his income from his job, I just rob him and then rob him of law enforcement. Cut his phone off so he can't report, have people come knock on his door, do the same crap. I promise you I would. I can't promise you I would. I don't know if I'd do anything like that. But I mean, he needs to get a taste of his own medicine. So I, go rob him of his funds so he can sit and marinate in that, cut his phone off when he's panicking to let him see how that feels. Let him get arrested for reporting my abuse and have inmates violate him and mistreat him and then have the guards put him in isolation after being violated.
Hey, Miss Clark, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, I'm going to put my corporal on the phone, okay? Just give me 1 second, all right?
Okay. Let police drive cars at him and see how he likes it. He's putting his corporal on the phone. That's the time. The crime was committed when I got my phone. It said call on hold, and it corrected when I started recording it. I don't know what's happening. Call
Miss
retrieve.
Clark?
Yes.
I have my corporal on the line.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. This is Corporal Amber Hume with the Victoria County Sheriff's Office. I'm Deputy Christensen's supervisor. What's going on today?
Okay, Corporal Amber, what's your badge number?
234.
Okay, my abuser had enlisted officers and multiple different other government officials and harassment and abuse. So they love to play mind games with me that you really wouldn't suspect. So I would like you to go over the call with this officer that we just had, listen to the call. And then I repeatedly report crimes. He'll commit a crime and enlist all jurisdictions of police departments to conceal his crime, which is accessory charges, obstruction of justice charges, and tampering with evidence charges. And those are just the minimal charges that I know. So ever since I've been in this environment, and then they have locations commit crimes to play mind games and for psychological abuse. For example, in Target, and they do it in this environment that I'm in now, they like to block the path where I can't get through, knowing how it sounds reporting it. So they make it impossible for me to get by, like they did at Target. But I get punished when people are treating me like this. So I couldn't get by in Target in Victoria, and then the representative from Josh put me out of Target because I couldn't get through. Well, someone needs to investigate that because I've been reporting people have treated me like that for years. Well, I don't know why they do it. I think it's part of a smear campaign. So when I'm shopping, armies full of the same people will deliberately get in my way and do strange things that I have recorded to make it impossible for me to shop. Like it's like that they know what I'm shopping for, and then they'll block my ability to be able to get the products I'm shopping for, multiple different parties, and stay in my way. And then when I get out the way, and then they'll come at me and scare me and do all kind of other bizarre things. So it makes it traumatic shopping. And then people, store representatives will come at me with cards. One lady actually almost hit me with a card at Target, in another Target location in Dallas, and I have it recorded. So, but the problem of it is my abuser is really petty, and he's enlisted law enforcement to conceal his crimes. My device is hacked, and I can't get my phone calls. I'm trying to call an attorney, and in fact, I've been trying to call one 10 years and can't get one. I call all over the United States, and 80% of my calls have never been returned. The only people that I can talk to are people that are being accomplices to crimes. I tried to report it to my provider. At one point, 7 or 8 police came, intimidated me, bullied me, and told the location to give me a criminal trespass, and then said the location did it. But I saw the location, the police department telling the location to give me the criminal trespass. And then they would not investigate why, for all these years, all legal representation has been denied, all kind of things that can benefit me, all services. I've been calling NAN years. It helps with injustices and police corruption and all that. NAN has covered for all the crimes the police department has repeatedly committed, as well as everywhere else I'm calling. I don't think these calls are real. Knowing that nobody would ever believe my story, so I read a book that there's someone can hijack phone networks, and they do this. This is a something that identity thieves use. They'll hijack the phone network and have you speak to scammers and spoof inbound and outbound calls. Not a lot of the population are aware that this can happen, but I assume that these police do know it, which is why they're removing me from my providers. Since the police got caught and removing me from my providers in Victoria, my provider left me in the problem, and then someone was covering for the crimes of a customer. I was being heckled and cursed out by a customer. So I believe my abuser, instead of enlisting the police department, he enlisted gang stalkers to heckle me and mistreat me and bully me and intimidated me for wanting the services that I was paying for. So I was forced to leave that location without the proper services. And anything to combat my abuser hacking my devices, and the police department allowing him to, and sheriffs, as well as all other law enforcement.
Alrighty, ma'am. Well, we could definitely look into that and definitely document this for you as well.
When will I hear from an investigator? Because it is a federal crime. Because I also reported to him that I was being defrauded out of funds. You can listen to the recording. Those are federal charges. And then I reported some other criminal charges to you, but also to this degree, since my device is being hacked and I'm defrauded out of funds, that's now a federal crime. And then that you have officers that are accessories to those charges, which they're committing felony crimes, in addition to the tampering with evidence felony and the obstruction of justice crime. So you have sheriffs that I've sent things to, and they haven't responded in emails saying with threats. So they're accessories to his crimes.
Okay.
So I want to make sure that it's understood that I'm reporting criminal activity from the department within law enforcement.
Yes, ma'am. We do have that. We do understand where you're coming from.
Okay, and what's the report number?
It'll be that 2025 number that I gave you.
Oh no, they believe that's a strategy of tampering with evidence. I want a different report number for a different event. Me reporting crimes the police department's committing. That's why I escalated to your corporal.
Okay.
That would be tampering with evidence.
So that's still going to be the same case number.
I wanted a different case number. I feel like you're committing a felony to crime right now by giving me the same case number. I wanted a different case number because I'm reporting crimes that the police department's committing. That's why I escalated to you to do a separate report.
Information request 521. Jimmy, 512-997-5861. 512-997-5861. Break. Wants to know how to get rid of the gun because his mother is scared.
What's happening now, ma'am?
Sorry. Okay, so I'm getting other calls at the moment, but Yes, ma'am. We don't just open up alternative case numbers just for, that's not how this works, but it will all be
Well,
documented
ever
on the
since
case
I've been
number
targeted,
provided.
crimes are committed, and it's not how it works. So then you'll have a different report, and you guys keep covering for yourselves and won't investigate the crimes you repeatedly keep committing. And you just want to spin my wheels and not get charges for infinitive charges. I can't combat that you're denying me law enforcement as a country and don't have no one is holding you accountable. I can't combat the fact you enlist countless civilians into felony crimes, so you never have an accountable. So not only do you want to be accessory, you want all these environments that I'm in making them accessories, enlisting people to stalk or violate me. Their stalking is a felony, and civilians are taking shifts to stalk me, and I have to upload videos for people to believe it. All on camera footage for anyone willing to do law enforcement. Nothing. I just don't know when you guys are going. Can you, as a corporal, I just think I need to leave this country. I need to speak with the victim's advocate. I just think I just need to leave because I don't think anyone will ever put you under control. I've lost hope. I think that this is just how you guys are and how you continue to be for profit. You've done it 10 years. So can you get me in contact with a victim's advocate? I just need to leave here.
You can talk with our victim liaison.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't tell you what all services she can offer, but I know she has resources for victims. You will have to call the sheriff's office and get transferred over. You'll have to ask for her. Her name is Jennifer DeVos at the Victoria County Sheriff's Office. Because she's at the office. We're out here. We're calling you on our.
Yeah, you guys are allowed to rob me blind, rack up countless felonies. It's not safe for me to be here. Just take my freedom on a whim. I need to just leave. No one is holding you accountable for your crimes. So ask to speak with the victim's liaison. But the problem of it is you entice all parties to keep me from fleeing you guys. You prearrange that they don't help me and have pathologically lie that it's nothing that they can do and demand that they leave me in abuse you're enlisted in. You illegally monitor me and make sure I can't flee you. And then leave me trapped in that, even with family. I'm all over at my sister's house, and the police department's they're putting me out of there in handcuffs on false reports. So I'm not safe anywhere if I can't be with my own family in peace. They have to be forced to be accomplices in tears. So I don't know what to do. I tried to get books and they're weird. They're talking about lizard people and all these strange things, and I'm trying to flee you. And then the books that I did get was like $160. It looks like I was being defrauded out of that. Since I've been targeted, I didn't know that books existed on Amazon that you could pay $160 for. Trying to get the government accountability for countless felonies. They knew that I wasn't going to pay $160 for a book. I guess that's why it was $160. And then libraries are weird. It's like they hide books. And luckily I had a phone call because I know nobody will believe the story that she's lying and telling me that they don't have books on domestic violence. And nobody would ever believe that I experienced that unless I would have recorded it. But I know when I go to these libraries, it's weird. It's like the books that will incriminate the government and my abuser are hid.
All right, ma'am. Well, we can look into what you've reported to us. And if you'd like to get in touch with our victim liaison, you can. That's up to you. But her name will be Jennifer DeVos. If you do, you'll have to contact the sheriff's office non-emergency number, please. And
I haven't called the emergency line at all, have I?
No, I'm just saying. I will advise anybody. It's not.
Yeah, I don't know why you needed to disclose that because I haven't called the emergency line. Period.
I have to tell everybody that,
so
that it's not abused or anything. Yes,
okay,
ma'am. Alrighty. Do you have any other concerns for me or questions?
No, and you're saying that the report of when will this be investigated? Because that's pretty serious.
Yes, ma'am. Our investigators will be looking at it soon. I can't tell you what they're gonna do or what the process is, but
as a corporal, you think that the FBI will understand that? As a corporal, you don't know what the process is and when it will be investigated. As a corporal, you don't know that.
Our investigators.
I'm not talking to you, sir. I'm not talking to you. I don't know why all these parties eavesdrop and rescue people from crimes they're committing. I don't appreciate our armies full of people, even family members, eavesdropping and people rescuing others from crimes, active crimes all over the place, even in person. I was talking to her. She's your corporal. You should not interrupt a corporal from speaking, even if this is a con. So back to that, you're supposed to be a corporal and you're not aware of the investigation process.
Yes, ma'am. I'm not an investigator. I work patrol. I'm a corporal on patrol. So I mean, we initiate, like, we gather the information for the investigators. We gather information from complainants as yourself, like, so that we can gather a case together and they further investigate it. So yes, ma'am.
So as a corporal, you are aware that not investigating a crime is criminal, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so why would you say that you don't know if they'll investigate a crime?
I
And
didn't
that's
say
criminal.
that. I did not say that. I said I would not be the one doing it. It'll go to investigations.
Okay, well, what about all the other reports that I made that weren't investigated? That's a crime. What happened to those? The
I
past
don't know what
reports.
happened to those,
Well,
ma'am.
you're
I
a
can't
corporal?
speak for other.
You're a
I
corporal, and so I
cannot
made it
speak
to
for
the sheriff's
your.
office.
Okay, if you're gonna talk over me, I'm not gonna talk to you because
Are
there's
you
no point.
are you strategizing to keep me and not having information on the past reports like they've been doing years and blaming me for it?
No.
Because that's what they've
Making
done for
big
years.
assumptions, okay?
So what I'm
No.
stating is what happened to the past reports that I've made to the sheriff's office. Typically, they
And
put
what I'm
words in my
stating
mouth
is,
and then demand that I take those false statements that I'm not stating. They demand that I take that as a strategy to keep me from getting information on past reports. It's happened years. They happen on CPS. So they say something that I didn't say and demand that we stick with that false statement that I didn't make. And then if I don't take that false statement, then they'll hang up. I'm asking about the reports that I did with the sheriff's office. This particular
yes, ma'am.
sheriff's office.
I would have to look into those. I did not take any of your previous reports.
Right,
This
that's
is
what
my
I'm
first time
questioning.
talking to you.
Yeah, that's what I'm questioning. Then you started talking about something else about other departments, and I
No,
said
you're
no.
talking about other stuff. I'm not going off on your past reports. You brought up your past reports.
The past
I
reports
haven't
for this
talked to you
department.
before.
Right, for this
Yes, ma'am.
department, and you were thinking it was for another department that you didn't have jurisdiction
ma'am.
over. But I'm speaking
No,
of the
ma'am.
past reports for this department that weren't investigated. We have already addressed that not investigating crimes is criminal. So I've already made reports with this sheriff's department. What happened to those past reports? I never got a call from an investigator, and we've already, addressed that is criminal to not investigate my reports of crimes.
I don't know when you called before. I would have to look into that. I don't
Yes.
have
Okay, well, go
memory
ahead.
of every access to every call anyone's made ever to the sheriff's office, but
Yeah, that's what I'm addressing because I'm showing you the history of criminal activity within your department and others. And some kind of way that police thought it was a threat for me to report these mysterious calls to my provider and that I can't get my calls. And to the degree of where they threatened my arrest and demanded that I left to leave me stuck in whatever's happening with my device, which is, criminal. You can't hijack someone's phone and it has defrauded me out of funds. That has changed to make it federal charges. Because not only is it hacking, but the hacking has defrauded me out of funds. And that's a felony. Okay, well, when will you give me an update? Because you said that you couldn't look. Well, you can't. You don't have the information now. You haven't been privy to the information. You guys were on the line an extensive amount of time. I was on hold. I don't know what that was about, but nonetheless, so I've given you you have my information. So when are you going to give me a follow up on what happened with the other reports that I made to the sheriff? I sent emails for proof, not only to this sheriff, but like 30 or 40 other parties, and it all was ignored. My email has been hacked. I don't know if people are really getting it, which is another crime that the FBI investigates but won't investigate it for me. So I send these countless emails and do all these things online, and I never get a response. I send messages on Messenger, and a lot of people don't respond. I try to get on POF and date and can't do that either. A lot of times they aren't getting messages or it's controlled. This is violating my life. That's why it's not safe for me to live here.
Okay. And by all means, if you feel unsafe, you don't have to live here. No one's trying to dictate what you do.
But I don't know if I leave because no one should have to be forced into being violated by the government and bullied for profit. It's criminal, but all these years, no one has had accountability. So back to when will you give me the follow-up for the other reports that I made, and I sent evidence of death threats that you guys are covering for and all kind of other countless criminal activity. So when
Those I'm sure went to investigations, so I don't know.
that's what I'm asking you for a follow-up. That's what you said, that you didn't know and that you don't know everything and you don't. So I'm asking you if you can, you're a corporal. So I'm asking you if you can give me a follow-up because they failed to do so, which is violating my rights.
No one's violating your rights, ma'am.
If I'm being
not
denied
violating
law
your
enforcement
rights.
for serious events, I'm not quite certain why you're a corporal and you can't see that. That is
Okay, well,
violating my rights. Definitely. If I can't report someone is threatening to take my freedom, put me out of a target for profit, and then ban me for
you're
a year,
reporting that
cutting off my
now.
suit, then you're not investigating it. I'm just reporting it with no investigation on why he pathologically lied, like armies full of others. That doesn't benefit me to have 300 and something reports no one's investigating, and then try to get the records and can't because I don't really think it's being reported. That doesn't benefit me. I can have 1,000 different reports that aren't getting investigated and then get the records and can't. Try to get the records and can't. This has happened for multiple different jurisdictions. The records never surface. So I'm reporting to Kingdom Come to get nowhere. And we've already addressed denying someone of investigation. They've already done it 300 and something times. It's criminal, and people are sugarcoating crimes. If you deny someone investigation for crimes, you can't do that. Like I said, what kind of charge is that to do that? Is that a misdemeanor or a felony to deliberately deprive someone investigation for crimes? Is that a misdemeanor or a felony? As a corporal.
As a corporal?
Yes, if investigation is being denied of crimes for profit, what kind of charge is that? Is that a misdemeanor or a felony? I just wanted to know if that's a misdemeanor or a felony.
I mean, official oppression would be a felony, but if that's, but if there's, cases can be closed out as well, investigated and closed out if there's not enough evidence to prove any.
But if they're violating my rights, if they don't call me to get the evidence and tamper with evidence, that's another crime. If they're making it impossible by scamming that they couldn't investigate, but are tampering with evidence to not investigate. There are multiple different crimes, multiple different felonies that they're hoping remains under the radar 300 and something times, and then blame it on they don't have enough evidence and they won't take the evidence. I've sent evidence multiple different times, and no one has addressed the evidence that I sent them for multiple different jurisdictions.
I don't have control over the past, but we will document this today.
You're documenting it, but you have control over right now, and from which it stands right now, we've already addressed that not reporting, investigating crimes is criminal, and you're not giving me any validation or any kind of confirmation or assurance that this will be investigated, and it's countless felonies I'm reporting to you, which we've already addressed as criminal if you don't get investigation and you're a corporal. Why would you risk your livelihood and charges to deprive me of investigation like they have already done 300 and something times?
I'm not risking anything.
Okay, so when will you don't know when the investigator will call me, but you can't assure that one will call me.
Okay, listen, I don't have control over the investigations division. They're their own entity.
Well, who has control over if they don't investigate it, that's a charge to ensure that the crimes will be investigated and there's no more tampering with evidence and other crimes being committed. Who can state, I thought you as a corporal, you had a requirement to do something, or that was another crime? So there's several crimes.
We are reporting it. We're doing our end on patrol. We are reporting this.
Are you reporting to a government agency that I have been deprived of law enforcement 300 and something times? Are you reporting that to someone?
Yes, to our agency, because I don't work for the federal government.
I thought you had a requirement to forward it over to the federal government if it was a federal crime.
No.
I thought you didn't have a choice or you committed a crime. I thought that as a responsibility as a corporal, if you witness federal crimes to keep yourself safe for criminal charges, you had to report federal crimes.
Okay, if you're going to keep talking over me, I'm done with the conversation. At this point, we have other calls dropping. Do you, other than the case number?
Are you orchestrating this call to leave me in that you're committing a crime and won't report the federal crime that you're hearing about? So you're deflecting and blaming me for it, for threatening to hang up to leave me trapped,
No one's
and that you're depriving me of the right.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. You keep talking over me, and I'm not gonna sit here and try to talk over you. We're not getting anywhere, right? Whenever that's happening, when we're talking over each other, no one's listening. I'm letting you know I'm gonna be ending the conversation. Do you have any other things other than what you've already reported to me?
So you're in the conversation in the middle of me trying to have you report the federal crimes to the FBI, and I thought that was the obligation if you are a corporal and you witness federal crimes being committed.
I have not witnessed any federal crimes be committed. I have you reporting. So
okay, I thought that if you are witnessing that me report, if you are hearing about me, if your office, you have a sheriff, and then you hear about Target, that I was of oppression there and I was removed from a Target location, you have evidence of that. And I thought that as a responsibility, you have a requirement.
I don't have evidence of anything right now.
Well, if you're refusing to take the evidence and hanging up in my face to interrupt it, it's an impossibility.
It's not.
If you're threatening to hang up the call when I'm trying to give you evidence and trying to figure out why you're not reporting this over to the FBI like your requirement and demanding the hang up because you won't let me speak.
You haven't given me any evidence or offered any evidence, just you're reporting what you're stating.
I'm not being heard. I'm not being heard that I've already reported to the sheriff and sent emails. I'm not being heard of evidence, and then you guys repeatedly keep tampering with evidence.
To you for 24 minutes, and I don't know how long.
Well, you're not making sense. You said that I haven't supplied evidence. I've already sent emails of evidence. Then I'm telling you about the Target situation and how I was oppressed there on camera footage. And then I'm telling you that it's happening in a new environment. And then I'm telling you that I can't use my devices in crimes the police department are committing. And then you're saying that it can't be investigated, like the other officer said that it couldn't be investigated. And then we've already said that they addressed that was a crime.
Okay. I'm going to let you go now, ma'am. You keep talking over me. I'm not going to keep arguing with you. This is going nowhere.
I think that you're strategizing your words to leave me in the problem, and then you're blaming me for your inability to see that crimes are being committed, and you're using that as a strategy to exit the call like other parties have done. I think that you're committing a crime right now. I don't think you want it to go anywhere, and then you blame me for trying to hang up during my report.
I'm not committing a crime right now. You can have your opinion, and that is fine. But I'm going to let you go.
The people let me go all the time when they're caught committing crimes. That's not fair to me, and it's criminal. So you do have evidence, and you're hanging up to pretend like you don't have the evidence.
I have no evidence from you. No, ma'am.
Okay, well, let me give it to you. Let me give it to you. So I made the report to Garcia, and I sent him countless emails, and I told him to confirm that he saw the emails, and I sent them to other officers as well. And you can investigate that. I have sent the emails that my abuser said that he was going to escalate his abuse. Then I went to Target. I'm scared to leave now because I'm being deprived of law enforcement. So I went to Target, and they scammed a strategy to keep me from making purchases. They've done it years. Do you have my YouTube channel? It's all uploaded to YouTube. There's the evidence that you need. Let me give you the YouTube channel. You ready for it?
Yes, ma'am, sure.
So when my abuser has been mad for years, I can't book hotel rooms. Sometimes I can't use public transportation. I get put out of restaurants. I get put out of stores. And then sometimes they want to add insult to injury to give me criminal trespasses so I can't come back. They do it at CPS, locations I have court cases in Malice, and it keeps me from handling vital business. And they've even tried to give me a criminal trespass in Malice from using transit for my abuser.
Businesses have the right to issue criminal trespass warrants.
That's not relevant to they're doing it for my abuser. That has no relevance in what I'm stating.
How do you know that they're doing it for your abuser?
Because I have emails that I've sent to the police, Garcia, that he hasn't responded to. He's stating that he's doing it in the emails, and he's stating that you guys are taking bribes and will cover for him, and I'm powerless. You're bought off and paid in full, and I sent all of that to Garcia and was ignored. And you have the evidence, and then you're tampering with evidence and covering for it. So that's a red flag. The emails are probably true. Because we've addressed that you're not investigating this as criminal, and you can't give me assurance that this will be investigated, even though we already stated that it was criminal. And then you want to distract and deflect and blame me and threaten to hang up to enforce that I don't get investigation. I've already informed you that something is suspicious with my calls. The police department knew it. That's why they came to Metro PCS. I have it recorded. 7 police and threatened my arrest for trying to report that these calls are suspicious and that I can't get my authentic calls, which is criminal, cutting off my communication. That's a felony. Isn't that a felony, terroristic threat felony? And it's a hacking
No.
felony. What kind of felony is it for cutting off communication for devices?
What do you mean? What
If
do you mean cutting off?
if someone deliberately cuts off someone's form of communication on a phone, like data, emails, and all that, if they deliberately cut off your ability to communicate with someone, what kind of crime is that?
The only crime regarding that is interference with 911 calls.
I found the terroristic threat. Can you check it out as a corporal? That cutting off someone's transit and communication was considered a terroristic threat, and I thought that was a felony.
No, a terroristic threat is not a felony.
There are certain
all
parts
right.
of the terroristic threats which are felony, and I thought it was enhanced if you cut off communication. I can look at it because I get pathological lies by law enforcement. I thought the terroristic threat enhanced if you cut off public transportation and communication. One moment, let me check it out. Do you have a Google in front of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's check it out together. I'm not quite.
This Deputy Christians.
I want to talk to you. I don't know why you're supervising this conversation. I don't feel comfortable with that. I don't feel comfortable with that. I don't feel comfortable with that. You escalated to a corporal. I feel more comfortable speaking with the corporal. So we were looking at the terroristic threats. I have rights, sir. I don't feel comfortable speaking with you. I want to finish speaking with the corporal. No, I don't want to speak with you. I want to continue to speak with the corporal. I don't want my rights violated. They hung up. They didn't want to look at terroristic threats because it is a felony to cut off someone's communication and transit.